Welcome to the Radio Scilly video report. Subscribe at youtube.com/Radio Scilly to be alerted when we upload new video reports. Sign up to the Scilly Lottery and you've a 1 in 2,000 chance of winning £1,000. You can play if you live on the mainland. It helps keep Radio Scilly on air and funds good causes around the islands. Read more at scillylottery.com.
The Scilly Lottery, thecillylottery.com.
This is your coverage of the 2010 World Pilot Gig Championships from Radio Scilly with St Austell Brewery, home of Tribute, the Southwest's favourite ale.
Debbie Thorpe, Bristol Pilot Gig Club.
Debbie, you're going to be coxing.
I am indeed.
And we're admiring the handiwork of your pale imitation of Banksy. You're not the best Bristol supporting graffiti, that, is it, really?
No, but it had to be done, really, didn't it?
Now, tell me about the complicated system of your coxing. What are you going to be coxing in? Which vessel?
We're coxing in one of the Dutch boats. I think it's called the Hollandaise Nieuwe. Whether I pronounced that correctly or not, I don't know.
You're going to have to get that right before you actually ask for it, aren't you?
I think I ought to, really. It'd be a bit embarrassing otherwise.
How did you manage to get that off them, then?
There was a bit of a plea sent out for gigs, and they were kind enough to answer that and say, we have a gig spare if you still need it. And we bit their hand off, basically, and said, yes, lovely.
They could argue it's a bit lame, really, that you've only come from Bristol, they've come all the way from the Netherlands. They brought their own boat, you're having to borrow one.
Well, that's because we've got three teams and only 2 gigs. So in order to allow more club members have the opportunity to row in the Scillies, we've obviously been lucky enough to loan a gig. I think they're using it for the men's anyway, but they didn't have another ladies' crew, so that was how we ended up with it, really.
Now, I understand that you're taking it very seriously, your river racing, you're laughing, your river racing in Bristol, because you've really been building the club up over the last 2-3 years, haven't you? Yeah,
the club has grown, definitely, and I think that they've been doing quite well, in relation to the newness of the club and everything. They didn't do too badly last year. I think they're just hoping to get up another couple of notches on the list.
And there was a bit of scoffing about 2 years ago. People saying, that's a river, the Avon, they haven't got Cat and Hell's chance. But you actually were going down to Weymouth, weren't you, and Weston-super-Mare, weren't you?
I think that I wasn't with the club then, but I do believe they did go down there and get a bit of training in with them in their early days. They had the disadvantage of Bristol is they're on a floating harbour most of the time, but then they go over and use through the blocks to Portishead for a bit of sea training. And that can be a bit rough and hairy, but that's obviously logistically quite a challenge to do that.
There was talk, again about a year or so ago, of the team from Bristol, I think it was Rob Salvage talking about this, bringing down the Matthew as somewhere for you to stay, having the ship moored off the island. So that hasn't come off. That would have been quite nice, wouldn't it?
No, I think there was chat about that again this year. I did hear whispers, but obviously nothing has come. And one of the members was saying that they will definitely try and organise that for next year. So I don't know if it's going to be the ever manana. That'll happen one day.
It would be impressive, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be good. It's an ideal situation to do that, really, isn't it?
And it'd be easy for you getting a lift down on, I guess, as well.
Yeah, that's true. Might take a bit longer, though.
So what do you enjoy about the championship, then?
The atmosphere's the main thing, I think. And the fact that you've got a captive audience of like-minded people all enjoying the atmosphere and, all got the same aims and goals and just basically wanted to enjoy the weekend.
And does it feel different coxing on the sea here as opposed to, well, obviously the River Avon would be different, but when you go out on the sea around the Severn Estuary?
Well, that can be pretty rough up there as well. They've got some riptides that can go through there quite a lick. So, I don't know, I think the main difference obviously is between the river rowing and the coastal rowing, and it's different from coast to coast because obviously around the county of Cornwall it varies. South coast and north coast, you've got the rugged north coast and a slightly calmer southern side, so it varies wherever you go. I don't think there's not really a straight distinction in a sense. And obviously here because you've got all the islands, you've got the difference in pools of the tide and then the way the water's sort of narrowed in and out of between the islands, so makes a difference, I suppose.
Any prediction for the Bristol crew?
Oh no, I wouldn't like to say that they hopefully improve on last year's results. I think that's the fairest we can say. I think they will. They're very keen.
I understand James Watt has given up drinking for an entire month in preparation. That smacks of a serious attempt.
Well, yes. I think that was the intention. Whether it's achieved it or not, I don't know.
We'll tell on Saturday, I would have thought.
I'm sure.
Thank you. Enjoy the championship.
Thank you very much.